Hey everyone, another edition of Browns Thoughts here on the Off the Mic Sports Network. The Cleveland Browns are going to pick number 2 overall in the NFL draft. If I'm a Browns fan right now, shockingly, the quarterback that I think that the Browns should take is probably not going to be available in this draft unless his university, Penn State, goes on a run through the playoff and he decides to change his mind. I don't think he's going to leave because the backup option at Penn State, Bo Prabula, has already left through the transfer portal and gone to Missouri. That's the way college football works. Drew Aller's coming back to Penn State. And it's a shame because he's a Medina, Ohio uh, native, grew up a Browns fan. There's been pictures all over the place of him wearing Browns apparel. Um, this guy knows what it's like to be a long-suffering Cleveland Browns fan. And Drew Allar, honestly, being a big quarterback, can move, does play action really well, has played in a run-based system, West Coast-based, um, and has really thrived in it. Drew Allar's the guy to me. And if he were available, honestly, a lot of people would say, yeah, maybe it's a little bit of a reach to take him at 2 overall. I'm not necessarily in that camp, to be honest with you. So if the Browns want to trade out, potentially get more picks, and hope to God that he's available and he stays in school, goes next year, and the Browns are able to potentially pick Drew Aller in 2026. That's really, I think, what's going to be on the table. I don't foresee the Browns taking a quarterback in the 2025 draft. Maybe they get sold on a Jackson Dart, maybe a Carson Beck or somebody else in this offense. But to me, the answer at quarterback long term for the Cleveland Browns is Drew Aller at Penn State. I think that's the guy that they need to fully fit this system with Kevin Stefanski. I think he's the guy. He makes a ton of sense. Um, and ultimately, it's going to depend on if this team could win, because I don't know if Kevin Stefanski is going to get to the end of another season as the coach of the Cleveland Browns, and that's a shame. It really is. But to me, if you're a Browns fan, you're honest to God hoping for Penn State to win the national championship, and that's going to conflict a lot of minds in Northeast Ohio, because obviously a lot of Browns fans are Ohio State fans and they want to see Ohio State win the national championship. So I just I just don't see Cam Ward. I don't see Shador Sanders being the guy that is ultimately going to lift this offense under Kevin Stefanski and lift this team to the heights that they need to be. There's not a CJ Stroud guy in this draft. And I think Drew Aller, with the right system, especially if he were to go to the Browns, I think that that's a perfect marriage. The problem is he's already made the commitment to going back to Penn State, which I completely understand, because I think he could easily be the top pick in next year's draft. And it'd be the top pick then. And ultimately, he could have an even better chance to win a national championship in 2025, 2026. So, but hey, a lot of things can change. There's been a lot of smoke about Drew Aller potentially, like, opting to, change his mind. But that would kind of, screw up a lot of the stuff that's going on at Penn State, because, like I said, their backup, Bo Prabula's already left. They would potentially have to go into the portal to get somebody else. But to me, if you are a Browns fan, the guy that you want is probably not available this year. It's Drew Aller. And I think brace yourself for Kirk Cousins. I actually don't see a problem in going to a veteran option in Kirk Cousins, because there are still a lot of pieces on this roster that are very good. Uh, and frankly, I do not trust Andrew Berry to make the right decision at quarterback in this draft. So then you go next player, best player available. It could be Travis Hunter. It could be one of the offensive linemen. It could be Abdul Carter, ironically, from Penn State. That I don't know if you're taking him number 2 overall. But there's guys in this draft that could represent, or they could trade out, and it could ultimately be an opportunity to potentially, go forward and go after Drew Aller in 2026 if he's not available. That's the guy that I want if I'm the Cleveland Browns. It's the quarterback of Penn State. It's not Cam Ward. It's not Shador Sanders. It's not Jackson Dart. It's not any one of these other quarterbacks that are available in this down quarterback class. So those are my thoughts here on the Browns. We'll have a lot more here on the channel going into the playoffs and previewing those matchups. We'll also have CFP stuff coming up, a lot of wrestling content with Raw and Netflix coming out on Monday. I will talk to you guys real soon. Bye-bye.